One of the things I miss most about XSplit over OBS was the ability to hear my own intros. I lose all that hype, and I watch everyone chat get excited, and I can't join in. Feels bad, man. But alright, folks, it's game number 1 and the other preliminary match of the group. Like I said, there was a PvP coming, and the winner of this fights against Stefano. The loser fights against Hero Marine. In the top right side, we've got the red Protoss, Team Liquid's Mana. With his opponent to the south, the ever-French DnS. Now, just not to take shots at these guys, both Mana and DnS are not the players I would expect to get out of this group. However, for them, the same quality of gameplay applies here. It's not about whether they can beat each other in a PvP necessarily. It's more about whether they can beat Hero Marine or Stefano afterwards. And I know, for example, the ZVP meta right now is really disgusting and all over the place. I think Mana could actually take the series off Stefano. Can't say much on DnS because I don't see enough of DnS playing, but I know Mana's one to go down dirty and dangerous with Protoss. But the same logic applies to Hero Marine too. Like maybe you're willing to throw out that proxy, maybe you overcharge rush, whatever your flavor may be. But two very distinct differences in builds already scouted and revealed. First off, DnS recognizes the fact that not Hero Marine, that Mana went for... Oh no, he didn't scout the Nexus. Okay. Alright, so hang on. Let's talk about this because this is actually kind of important, guys. So Mana gets over here, he gets blocked out. He doesn't know what's going on, but immediately to see two pylons like this, suspicions rise to the fact of a Stargate, right? You don't guess that they take a fast Nexus behind it. That's typically not what you do when you wall this off. Not unless you're playing some super sick mind games, which DnS is not doing. However, DnS, on the other hand, very interestingly, gets up here to scout the main, sees the gas, sees two gateways. Maybe he's satisfied seeing only one gas to know that there's a Nexus. Maybe he's that sick at StarCraft 2 and gets the amazing read. I don't actually know. My concern is that he misreads this, though, and doesn't realize that there's a Nexus. So very interesting scouting stuff going on and some super sick... You know, we're going to replay that because I love the way that sounds. We had Eider just hit a 31-month resub saying Ace Kate, welcome back to the channel, friend. And then Rimmed Craft, $5 my way. Oh, you shouldn't have. Thank you. This is Ninja Level Solo Cast. Oh, while I'm at it, Protoss is too easy. I know, dude. Protoss is so BS. I guarantee you, like, I swear on my mother's grave, a Protoss is going to win this matchup. It's such a good race. Oh, actually, because this topic's been brought up in chat, I want to discuss YouTube for a moment, guys. Some folks have been reaching out to ask like, why we haven't been uploading to YouTube recently. So, to be clear, the reason we were afforded the opportunity to create so much content on Twitch and do like daily casts and big tournaments like this on the regular was because I was finally able to hire somebody to cover YouTube for me. Our YouTube has since not been making money. Literally $34 has been made over the last 2 years through YouTube. It's not a profitable endeavor. But I was still paying Joey to do this. Joey, if you didn't see, put out a twit longer. A lot of stuff to be said. I'll say it in a moment. This Oracle, how much damage can it get done? Oh, the force field to block out the Adept is sick. Because that Adept would have wrapped up a couple more probe kills. Now the Stalkers kill the Oracle. The force field denies the Adept. Mana ends up having the sickest defense for this. Losing only 3 probes is beyond good. Like, that is super, super nice. Round 2, the Oracle is going to come on in, but I don't think it's going to accomplish much more. As we saw, Overcharge is primed and ready. This one's good to go too. The Oracle might grab a couple of kills, but didn't need to pop the Overcharge. Stalkers will cover this, though. Anyways, to finish my point about YouTube, basically Joey put out a twit longer. If you guys haven't seen, he's been in Philadelphia. He's been rocking it over there. He's been doing a lot of work. He hasn't been able to do YouTube for like a month. So my contemplation was, do I find a new YouTube editor? I really don't care enough to do it at this point. And paying Joey was mostly something I did just because I like Joey and I needed an excuse to give him money, so I told him to work for me. Like, I'm all about Twitch, guys. I bleed purple, all that stuff, right? I don't have time for YouTube. I'd rather have more live shows and less YouTube content if that's what it comes down to, and that's lately what it's come down to. But now that Philadelphia is wrapping up, I talked with Joey. Hopefully by the time he's done with all that, he can get back on the YouTube train. So, sincerest apologies for those that do depend on YouTube content, but I've just had it as such a low priority for this last month. Also, yo, thank you, aka June, or June3, whichever of those two you prefer. That Twitch Prime subs, very nice. Also, speaking of which, I feel really bad because while everyone got rich on YouTube real quick, I don't know if you guys have been keeping up the drama, apocalypse, this, that, and the other. I'm seeing tweets all the time of like totally safe for work, great, good, wholesome content creators having all their videos like demonetized and stuff. Fuck, that's scary. That's scary to have a channel with like literally hundreds of thousands. I've got a friend with over 1.5 million subscribers. He's not making more than a couple of bucks on some of these videos. It's insane. So, again, I'm very happy to stay focused on Twitch. Plus, I don't get this interaction with you guys. Like, I know YouTube's recently brought in live streaming. F that. Twitch for life. And speaking of which, I'm super excited for TwitchCon. If you guys don't know, I'm going to TwitchCon. So Zombie Grub. We're both going to be working at the TING booth. At this point, I'm allowed to talk about it, even though I slipped up on stream the other day. So if you are going to TwitchCon on both the days of the 21st and the 22nd, we'll be spending about 5 to 6 hours each day at the TING booth. They've got couches, they got phone chargers. You guys should absolutely come by and say hi. And if you need a place just to chill and hang out, TING are really nice people. But enough off-topic stuff because things are starting to get really interesting. It took some time here because the oracles were such a flop. DnS wasn't actually able to do much more, and he was forced to play a weird macro game behind it. He has kept up with Mana in terms of thirds, in terms of income. In fact, I believe he should be winning the income war. Yep. Yes, his probe count's looking pretty nice. But now it comes down to tech. And beyond that, I think it'll be weapon choices and all this. But the thing is, we're going to charge, we're going to have Archons. We're not actually going to be seeing either of these guys go towards Disruptors, which is really interesting to me. I'm a big fan of Disruptor play. I think it can absolutely kick a lot of ass when done correctly in PvP. But yeah, for DNS, it's going to be Archons and Charge Lots. Really classic combination with some weird add-ons like a Void Ray. And for Mana, well, it's just going to be Gateway units. Well, I guess he's got his own Templar Archives. I didn't see that. That's my bad. Oh, this is kind of cool. He's going to try and feed back the Oracles. It's a nice move. It's not that we would kill them, but it was something he could do before he made the Archon. The Observer was just sitting on top of it. So that was slick. I like it. It was nice. People talk about other streaming services. Yo, I heard like Owned is coming back or came back, or I don't know. I wouldn't trust those guys personally. Mixer is a pretty big deal. They had a huge booth at PAX. Honestly though, I've never watched a single person on Mixer, and I know a lot of people who are on Mixer are just paid to be on Mixer, so I don't know if that's like organically cool or if they're just like funneling money to make it work. Like, guys, we promise this is cool. Just like look at these other big streamers here. And yeah, Hitbox kind of, I don't know about Hitbox. Hitbox was a contender for a while. I think it's kind of fallen off the market. I don't know. There might be others I don't really pay attention to. Again, I focus on Twitch. But yo, this gold bait is gonna get caught by Mana. This will be nice. Bait caught me slipping. Yeah, this will be a quick cancel, or should be at least. So DNS would be delusional if he thought he could hold on to this. But okay, where are we at for units, right? We're sitting on 24 Zealots, 21 Zealots, 3 to 5 Archons. Stalkers for Mana are a little bit odd, but of course he has these left over from the early game, and it's not like he made them now. A couple of his own units get caught by those charge lots. Fight gonna get forced here. If anything, this Warp Prism's probably gonna just be able to help shuttle a couple units out alive as he continues to retreat. But he knows he can't fully retreat, so he falls back to a choke. This was kind of a nice move, but the Zealot wall out of DNS ends up being superior. Mana coming from the backside is not gonna find himself with too beneficial of a flank because there's nothing back here to really pick off. His own Zealots warped in are great. They do start pushing back those Zealots. Oh, that was kind of cool. I didn't even realize he put a stasis trap in there, but Mana did, so he baits it out. One of the Archons pops off, but the other one barely gets saved. And they both disengage from the fight, looking similar. Mana had a small upgrade lead through that. It's not something that's going to win him the game, as DNS especially is closing the gap on it. But as we saw there, numbers are still what matters most. If Mana didn't have that second Warp in, if that Warp Prism had been picked off or pushed back, that would not have been a fight that Mana even traded evenly in. +3 starts out pretty quickly here too. I'm surprised this hasn't gone anything further than the basic of basics. Like, Charge That Archon is fine. We watched a whole tournament of PvPs this summer, if you guys remember the Civil War. And it was like, or last summer, excuse me. Whoa, it's a while ago. And this is what some of the PvPs look like, but for me, I see compositions like this, and my thoughts are like, you want to add in something else. Whether it's a Colossus, which isn't really part of the meta anymore, or a Disruptor, which was and has fallen out. I don't know. The numbers game is just a hard one to overcome. A lot of it has to do with positioning. Do you have a concave? Are all of your Immortals firing? Are all of the Archons in range? My fear for DNS, which is not a big fear because 10 Archons is nice. It's hard to be afraid of anything when you got 10 Archons. My fear, though, is that these might be too clumped up. They'll find themselves not in a concave because there's less units on top of this. They might not be able to all fire at the same time because if you got Zealots in front, a couple Archons at the back, then a couple more that can't quite get in range, that could really hurt his unit count. For mana, though, 38 Zealots is a wonderfully fluffy bit of cannon fodder. Oh, is this going to be a base trade? No, DNS is going to turn around and come home. Okay. This is actually really important. Mana is careful with the positioning on his units. He knows this too. That's why we're seeing these units pull back. It's not that he's scared of something he saw this way. Oh, beautiful pick off on that Mothership Core. 2 Archons also getting sniped too. Good start to the fight for Mana. But I was going to say, it's because he knew there was an army that was bound to come from behind or get recalled on top of this. But killing the Mothership Core, now he knows it won't come from the front. Units composition, again, similar, but numbers are what matter. And Mana's got double the Zealots, almost triple the Zealots. Rush into that front line. They can soak the hits. They can deal some damage. Those Archons get annihilated. 2-2 versus 2-0. And this ends up being a clean sweep for Mana. GG. But it is only game number 1. Keep in mind, all the matches you're seeing cast today are going to be best of 5s. And next map is going to be on Mech Depot. I'm sure I'm going to eventually get used to the new lobby system that they've made in the game. But the problem I have with it is not that like the UI necessarily looks bad or like, oh, I can't figure it out. It's just everything's so tiny. It's like this UI is made for ants. Let me show you guys. Like before when you would make a game, it was just like this really big button. Easy peasy. Now you gotta like find your mini tab at the top and then like find the map. There's tiny little text like, dude, I'm old. I need glasses. I can't see. It's so tiny. It's so... Alright, let me swap myself for DNS. Say when ready. I'm Mana. Boom. Mech Depot. See you guys here in game. Game number 2, ladies and gentlemen, as we get into Mech Depot. Up 1-0 currently in the bottom left. We have the red Protoss, Team Liquid's Mana. With his opponent in the top right. None other than DNS. And an interesting compliment comes out of chat because I kind of forgot about this actually. Someone saying they really like how Mana's so good at both StarCraft 2 and Brood War at the same time. And that's right. If you guys haven't been following a lot of what Mana's been doing, he was playing Brood War. He played in our Brood War tournaments that we hosted too. Excuse me, I say Brood War. I'm talking about StarCraft Remastered, but kind of a good handle on both games. But the sad reality for me, and I am absolutely Team Mana, guys. He's a nice guy in real life. He's a good player. We see some of the best micro out of him when he's in the worst situations. But all these things considered, Mana hasn't really won anything big in a long time on our channel. So, I'm hoping for good things here with the Ting group. My fingers are crossed to see something. But if he could win this group, keep in mind, for those who are unaware and haven't followed, the prize pool for this tournament, for the first time ever, pays out now to the top 16. In the past, it was typically the top 8, and of course, last season, it was only the top 4. But this season, we've changed it up, and now the top 16 players will get prize money. All they have to do is get out of their first group alive, and they're in the money. If you want to see more about the prize pool, by the way, you can check out the Matcherino page. I believe the command should be tied to !Matcherino. And if you go to the payout section, you can see the prize breakdown exactly. So, again, 30% I think is what the winner gets. The more money we raise through Matcherino over the season, the more money they can get. Keep in mind, guys, as well, for those who are considering trying Ting, if you buy one of the SIM cards off of Matcherino for $5, not only will that get you something really cheap and sent out to you so you don't have to go out to the store, #lazy, it's also going to compile into, if we sell all of those SIM cards, Ting's going to add another $1,000 to the prize pool. And on top of that, things like the t-shirts and other rewards that'll be coming as the season goes on. Like, yeah, the t-shirt's $20. All you're paying for really though is the shipping, because that $20 for the t-shirt goes right into the prize pool. So Ting's doing some pretty cool stuff. And again, while the season starts at $4,000, I'm hoping we'll end up well above $5,000, because every other season has been $5,000 flat out. No way to increase it, no way to really get involved. We already see a bunch of people on that page like OFU and some of these others, Mega Man Red, getting a couple of their contributions in there. So I'm really looking forward to see what this season looks like at the end of it. But anyways, yeah, check out Ting. Sponsors, bttv.ting.com, all that good stuff. The beautiful thing is our US viewership is pretty good. In fact, US is always our #1 viewership slot. Usually followed by either Canada or Germany and so forth. But it does suck in a small way. Ting is only available to the United States. Their services are so cheap, and I certainly would love to be paying like $9 a month instead of fucking $90. Oh, I hate my phone, guys. I hate TELUS. I hate Canada. Sorry, just had to complain because it is a real problem daily. $90 a month for 2 gigabytes of data, limited calling, limited texting. Thank you, Jesus, for this blessed opportunity for me to realize how much I wish I had Ting. Oh, you're in Canada too? Yeah, for those who don't know, I am the only Canadian caster I think out there, for StarCraft 2 at least. Hailing from good old British Columbia, West Coast, Best Coast. Cute little moves out of Mana, because if DnS had been playing super greedy, he would not have had enough Stalkers to actually push that back. And usually this Mothership Core can pick up like 2 or 3 probe kills, which is nice. But forced to recall, not the end of the world. Got a pretty good scout out of it too. Oh man, people want to start talking about Canada first world problems. Let me tell you about our internet, guys, all right? Now, granted, this is with a bit of an asterisk because I'm talking about the West Coast. I know on the East Coast, Bell has recently started doing fiber optic and some other things. But for Vancouver, one of like the bigger cities in Canada, you'd think they'd be a little bit more technologically advanced. No. Only this year did they even come out with unlimited data plans, and that's for very select services like Novos and others. There are some select areas that Shaw will provide unlimited data to as well, but other than that, I believe I am paying $125 a month for 10 upload. I think I have 125 download, and I'm like, look, I don't need download. Can y'all just give me like 1 more upload? I'll give you 100 download back. I don't need the download. And then I have a hard cap of 800 gigabytes a month, which I regularly go over and have to pay a little bit more for. And it feels fucking bad. Cause Canada. Also, some of you Americans who are tuning in that do pay for your expensive phone bills and are not the type of people to use Ting, who enjoy your unlimited data, let me know how that is, because there is no unlimited data option for your phones. I think if you look up TELUS's website, you can pay for $350 for 16 gigs or something like that. It's so stupid. It's so ridiculous. Anyways, complaining aside, we have an attack coming. Part of me because I get caught up in it, all right? I live it every day. I get caught up in it. Yeah, Stalkers take out the pylon, no cancel there, so it's not going to be an overcharge. It's a little bit dangerous to do this. Mana also splits some of his units away because I think he's worried about these get caught. So he does have Blink for an escape, brings in the rest of the Stalkers, baits in the Blink out of DnS. Now he can force with the backside of this, and DnS can no longer walk away from this fight. Mana looking to really push the pressure here. 13 Stalkers to 8. This is exactly what he wants to do, because DnS can't abandon this ship. He wants to keep this Nexus alive, but loses Stalkers and the Warp Prism in the process. Dark Shrine's coming out, but it's not going to matter because the third base is about to get canceled, and Mana, ooh, splitting those Stalkers up was so sick. I thought he was doing it to be precautious. He did it to bait. Brilliant moves out of Mana. Now there is a problem here. He doesn't have detection. Not yet, at least. Doesn't know about the Dark Shrine either. Not yet, at least. This was proxied over in the middle of nowhere. I didn't even realize that till just now. I thought that was a pylon this whole time. So the Dark Shrine's not going to be something made immediately available and evident to him. But the thing is, only 4 DTs are still warped in. This is not exactly going to clean up Mana quickly. It will clean him up eventually. Now the onus is on Mana to do as much damage as possible before the DTs stop him dead in his tracks. So Doing things like trying to get that warp prism, focusing on the stalkers. I mean, mobility for Blink keeps them away from these DTs. As the Zealots get to the mineral lines too, Probes are going to start dying. DNS already being down a third is devastating in this game, but the DTs were supposed to be a way that would bring him back. Place down to the low ground. Oh, this is such sick moves. I didn't realize Zealots got in this mineral line too. DNS is being run ragged, and Mana... Yo, normally DT shut this down so hardcore. You don't even see somebody have a fighting chance. It's not even fair, but... Oh, he's done this so well. I'm gushing, guys. I don't even care. I'm gushing because this was handled so well out of Mana. Well, finally the attack comes to an end. 40 probes remain, no third base, and Mana, I think, realized DTs. Yeah, he realized DTs, so a couple of observers were made. Now he's moving on to Immortals. He'll rely on Warpians to fluff out that army supply. But man, Mana is good to go. I honestly don't know what DNS can do in this part. Like, yeah, okay, guys, I'm not Grandmaster Protoss. There's definitely parts of the game I don't know. But it's also just the sheer fact that he took so much damage. There should be nothing he can do. Oh, it's going to be tough, guys. It's going to be tough. Warp Prism going to, I guess, skirt around the outside of the map and maybe try and get some DTs in the main. But even then, Mana's like on top of this. He's like waiting for this. He wants that Warp Prism to come to him. He says, please, bring it. If I'm talking about unlimited, look, so here's the thing, guys, right? Ting, like I said, love them to death. Amazing company. They only service the United States. I'm not going to say which company because I don't want to advertise a competitor here, but I have to use a different American phone service for my second phone because that service offers unlimited data through roaming to Canada, and it costs exactly as much as my current phone bill. It's the only way I get access to unlimited data. My life, I can't go back to 2 gigabytes ever, man. It's not gonna happen. But I did, for clarity here, guys, Zombie Grub still uses Ting like as their main provider, and I used to use Ting when I go to the States. So anyone traveling to the States, Ting is actually not a bad option either. If you're gonna be there for just a week, paying like $9 to $15 for like a week's phone versus like your roaming charges. I don't know about you guys out there. My roaming is $7 a day flat. So if I'm spending a week in the States, it was way cheaper last year for me to use Ting the way I was. But anyways, we keep talking about prices. I'm just gonna get riled up by it. Canada. DNS takes a pretty good initial fight here, actually. The DTs catch him, Mana, a little off guard. And oh, his observer floats in a little too deep, so he loses that detection. Now he doesn't have a way to fight the DTs. He does have a second observer somewhere. It's, I don't know where, but it's not in the front lines. So Mana draws DNS back, but he also veers off with a Warp Prism, and I don't know if DNS realized this, because 2 Immortals head into the main. 2 Immortals are going to depower all these gateways. You know, he's got a lot of momentum coming his way, but if Mana takes out all these pylons... Oh, this would be huge. Oh, he's focusing on the stalkers. So sick. Yeah, if he controls this perfectly, not only is now DNS supply blocked so he can't warp anything in, but depower all the gateways and then he can't warp anything in. Oh, I'm surprised Mana actually warped in phase mode. That was a little bit risky. But he's getting some more probe kills for this. Third base under attack, going for the defense. He does have those 3 overcharges, adding a ton of extra damage in. This helps make up for a lack of army supply, but I don't think it's going to make up for 5 Archons. So probes get pulled into the mix. A little bit dangerous there. Mana was harassing, but has since stopped. And I said, I don't know how DNS gets back into the game, but maybe this is it. The overcharges are starting to wear off, but the Stalkers are taking out these Archons. It's getting real tight, guys. It's getting real goddamn tight. Mana falls back from this, waiting for his next Immortal to come in. DNS can't really warp in much because he's lost so much at home, and he had to use a lot of defensive warp-ins too. These Immortals still haven't been fully cleaned up either, and this doesn't get any easier for DNS. I think that attack was his best chance to win the game, and the fact that he lost the momentum means that this might just be over. And Immortals take a long time to kill Zealots, jeez. Took a lot of shots to knock that down. Yeah, 25 probes dead. And DTs are here to intercept the Immortals. Mana's got to be a little bit careful with this. He knows this too. Oh, golly gee. Warp Prism finally goes down. DNS finds a way to breathe, but damn. Mana already did too much damage with this. This Immortal, by the way, on death. 21 kills on one, 14 on the other. These Immortals, literal gods tasteless. GG. Mana takes game number 2. Now up 2-0 in the series. Also, yo, gotta give some shouts to my boy Jesse in chat. What's up, Ting Jesse? If you guys got any questions about Ting whatsoever, this is the dude to talk to. Jesse straight up works at Ting. He's the one who roped us in. He's the one who single-handedly signed Neeb. And if you've been to any events with Neeb, you've probably seen Jesse there. He hangs out at a lot of these things. He's a really cool dude. I look forward to seeing him at BlizzCon. But guys, we gotta go to commercial break. 2 minutes coming at you while I take a moment to breathe. Then we get to game number 3. Sit tight. All right, folks, welcome back. We're getting into game number 3, but this also might be the last one in the series. He's up 2-0 in the top left, looking to go on to fight Stefano at this rate. It's Team Liquid's Mana. With his opponent at the bottom right, none other than DnS, who put up... I will give it to DnS. That was a hell of a fight. That was a hell of an almost comeback in that game. But still couldn't quite pull it off. And that's what's got to be so damn disheartening, because I think DnS played that really well from a position where he had just been shut down so hard so early. PvP being a mirror match of all things too, like, it's just not easy to make something happen for you in this, especially if you're behind. And he almost brought it back to a victory. It's pretty sick. But yo, guys, once again, I gotta look good in front of our sponsor Jesse in the chat. So do me a favor, if you're tuning in from the United States, head on over to bttv.ting.com. Check out Ting. They got a savings calculator. They might help you find out whether you even save money or not swapping to Ting. They're very transparent about this stuff too. They're basically, yo, if we can't save you money, don't use our services. So check them out, especially if you're somebody who's around Wi-Fi all the time. Ting might just be the bee's knees. I don't know. This is a bad sell. But check out bttv.ting.com. And thank you so much to B4RB Barb Ross. Thank you for that Twitch Prime sub. I can't say your name. I'm so sorry, dude. I hope you don't regret that too much. But up to quite a few new subs this stream so far. So big thanks to all those getting involved. Already up to, let's check this out here. No, that's not right. Twitch Alert says I've got 0 new subs this stream. We just shouted one out. Okay, there we go. Third refresh is the charm. 10 new subs, 32 follows, and 105 bits. You guys are awesome. Thank you for joining me on the solo cast for this coverage of the Ting group. Hopefully you like it, because unfortunately this is what you're stuck with all week. Zombie Grub is, of course, in Toronto doing Kings of the North over there, so she will not be available to join me for the next couple days casting. But we do have some really good things coming, guys. If you haven't seen our events tab, if you haven't seen our schedule, make sure to check it out so you don't miss out on any of the future stuff we got coming. But yo, DnS got a little... Oh, no way! Okay. Oh, I barely saw that. I was saying, DnS got a little bit cheeky trying to block out Mana's Natra, and Mana was like, fine, you want to be that way? I'll sneak in a pylon on your side of the map. But DnS, oh, he almost didn't see it. That was so sick. Good catch, though, out of him. So, Mana will place his Nexus down about the same time as DnS, and I guess DnS is up 3 workers. That's pretty nice, but ultimately not the biggest of deals right now, because they're both fully saturated in the mains. When he transfers the probes over, we might see a small spike in the income for DnS, but it shouldn't be anything too noticeable. Mana is staying at home this time too. Just worth noting, he did go across the map with a mothership core last time. It got some pretty nice scouting. It endangered possibly a probe or two, but having recalled and seeing DnS was ready for it, I guess Mana didn't want to try and pull that off again. People ask about the brackets. Yeah, so this is... You can look at it how you like. I hesitate to call it double elimination, because if it was double elimination, truly, then there would be 6 matches instead of 5. This is more of like a GSL or a WCS style group. There's going to be 5 best of 5s in total to determine which 2 players get out of the group. Classically, we do the losers match first, which is a little bit different. So after this will not be someone fighting Stefano necessarily. It'll be someone fighting Hero Marine, then someone fighting Stefano, then the grand finals of the group. But basically guarantees you guys a lot of content, even if these are a bunch of 3-0s, and God forbid that be the case, but Mana, again, 2-0 in the series, looking so good, looking fine, might just make that the case. Either way, I hope you're all having a great bad luck day. Friday the 13th, scariest day of the year. My friend's having kind of like a spooky Halloween stream / party I'm going to later. Some of you may know her, Stacy Roy. And I just can't help but think like how everything is going to go wrong. All the dishes are going to break. All the cameras are going to get messed up. I would not want to have people around anything on Friday the 13th. Hallucinated Phoenix dips into the main. This is actually a great scout. This sees, first off, Twilight Council with the Chrono Boost on it. That's a big tell versus just a regular Twilight Council. He sees the Chrono Boost on the Robo as well, also knowing that it's a Robo. Mana, I don't know if he'll guess that it's Blink. I mean, honestly, now Blink is more popular than ever, so it's probably Blink. But he at least knows two different things. And one of those important things is that DNS is getting ready to attack faster rather than later. Thank you, by the way, to Erdbeernam for the 17 months. Hype. Welcome back, dude. Another Phoenix being sent out for scouting as he tears down rocks. All these things meant to just buy him a little bit of time. We actually have a pylon down here. It's going to be a slow warp in, so Mana... I guess it will be nice to counterattack. He won't need a warp prism, which means it won't cut into his production, which means he can just pump out straight immortals. With the attack he knows that is imminent and incoming. He's gone for Resonating Glaives, interestingly. I don't know how much I like this. I don't think Adepts are really that great in PvP anymore. They've certainly got their role. But a couple of force fields here and a good Guardian Shield should keep this from getting too much done. Picks off one of the sentries. It's kind of nice to see him. Blinks out of there, so he's safe and sound for now. I'm just wondering if Mana's going to be able to use his... like, he's got warp ins, but he'll probably have to use them all defensively. I don't think he's going to even have the option to send us across the map. But overcharges get popped. DNS focuses that immediately, so no pylon there. One for overcharging, the other immortal caught between those force fields. Mana in a whole hell of a lot of trouble at this third base. Doesn't want to give it up because giving up the third base is basically like losing the game, but he has to. As he falls back, the Mothership Core barely gets out of there alive. Oh, never mind, take that back. She overcharges only to die. And this overcharge will wear out pretty quickly. Stalkers blink into it, getting a little bit aggressive. Oh, that Immortal with 2 health barely gets out of there alive. He wants to go for the kill. Falls back. Mana now down quite a bit in supply. He does have an upgrade lead. There's +1 going for Mana. He has at least that much going for him, but the type of units here are really going to get him killed. Adepts aren't going to cut it. Resonating Glaives is a brilliant and good strategy if you're going for like Worker Harass or trying to fight off Zealots, or really anything other than Stalkers, but specifically Sentries and Stalkers and this Immortal, this is not the type of army an Adept army does well with. I like the Zealots. They've got charge. Overcharge was popped. The Adepts might actually deal with the Zealot portion of this pretty decently. I guess if he has enough Adepts, then they can take on the Stalkers. I say this with hesitance, though, because he's going to let the transfer complete. This lets him pick off the Sentries. This lets him pick off the Zealots. That's kind of cool to see, but that force field locks in the Adepts. So now they got to try and fight against the Stalkers, which should ultimately win this fight, especially with that Warp Prism Micro. 3 Immortals, however, will beat out the Stalkers, and Mana finds a way to counter. But keep in mind, behind all of this, guys, regardless of how this specific fight goes, Mana, whether he wants to be or not, has been kind of forced to all in, at least until the point where he knocks down his opponent's third. If DNS has his third base up and running for more than another couple of minutes, he's going to start having huge leads. He knows this too. That's why all the defenses are being warped in over here. Mana, of course, brings a gateway. This is a little bit silly to see, but it does mean instant warp-ins instead of slow, agonizingly bad ones. The fight's not going so good for Mana. I'm wondering if it would have been better just try to get the Adepts in the mineral line and do some harass in that regard, but his army supply still holds kind of close to DNS. But ultimately, Mana cannot take a fight. He's being backed into a corner, very literally. The Immortals are going to get caught. The Sentries go down. The Adepts don't even escape. GG's get called. DNS puts a point on the board, and he's not going down without a fight. Good to see. Oh, what is this link? This YouTube link. TING Final Season 3. Rivkin versus Jeez. It's Jeez. His name is Ajis. All right, hang on. I'm gonna get the lobby up. What's this, Odyssey? All right, this is perfect. We don't have a map intro for Odyssey, so while I make this, I want to actually show off. I guess I don't know how to do this on stupid OBS. What is it? Display capture? You guys can see how ugly my second screen looks while we're doing this. Boom. Yeah, so this is where we had a showdown. I'll mute this. This was where we had this was the Corsair headquarters. This is where we had the finals for Ting Season 3 earlier this year, actually. It was a lot of fun. It was pretty cool. And then we kind of had this screw around match of me versus Jesse. I don't think, it wasn't high stakes. There wasn't a lot on the line. We weren't playing for super serious, but damn, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, and I think the viewers did too. This, by the way, managed to somehow have like 4,000 viewers on Twitch. I still can't believe it. Pretty ridiculous. Okay, they're saying go, 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 go. Let's get into it. Now, it would be very simple and easy for me to log into our YouTube channel and correct the title from Jeese to Jesse. But at this point, I feel like the meme is just too good. So, Rifkin versus Jeese. Oh, hey, we got some bits coming in from Diet Soda, my dude. Diet Soda, we were talking about you on my friend Fast Feast stream the other night, actually. I'll get into that in a moment. But thank you for the 100 bits. Spawning here in the top left, we've got the Red Protoss, Team Liquid's Mana. In the bottom right, we got the Blue Protoss, DnS. 1 point on the board, coming back swinging. We'll see if we can bring this PvP back for the brink of defeat. Jesse says, "You're never gonna change it, are you? Ha 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 ha." No, dude, you can throw me a contract for Ting. You're gonna sneak in some like fine print clause that's gonna be like, also Rifkin has to change the title of the video, and this contract will pay me like $1 million, and I'd be like, nah. Because it's logging into YouTube, and I hate logging into YouTube. It's like logging into Facebook. I hate logging into Facebook to do BaseTradeTV related things. But yo, Daisiod complains that the bit boss is too small. I'm sorry, dude. It's got to move it to take place of the sponsors otherwise, and I gotta show off our beautiful sponsors. But yeah, we were talking about how subscriber names are really difficult to shout out sometimes. We always feel guilty about it. And I was like, yeah, I know. This is one guy. He's been sub for like forever. He's the nicest dude. And I can never say his name correctly. And they're like, what is it? I'm like, well, I can't tell you what it is if I can't say the name correctly. But I'll just tell you this much. I ended up calling him Diet Soda instead. And it's stuck. And everybody thought Diet Soda was a really cool name, dude. Just so you know. Just for the record, everyone thought it was really cool. Alright. Silly side stories on pause, guys. Scouting going to be very important here for Mana to see what's going on. Not to get Nexus isn't a big deal. Nobody really goes fast first Nexus anyways, but getting back here to see the fact that there is a cyber core, see the double gateways. Sometimes it's some guesswork, but the best thing he did here was confirm the second gas and the second pylon. The second pylon being the most important of them. PvP's got some interesting openers though. It's pretty much this most of the time. There's not a lot of deviations for it, and what comes out of the gateways I think really determines the big influence of what's next. By the way, Mana may stick around with this probe. Sometimes people will be cheeky and put pylons in their opponent's mineral lines, but okay, not today. But there's some risk to take with this, right? If you make 2 adepts and they come out first and they manage to sneak around the map and get to the probe line, you'll actually kill a lot of workers early on, even if there's an overcharge for defense. 4 or 5 probes will go down, kind of sucks. But because this was such a common thing to do, people started making stalkers and they would send them out on the map aggressively. Mana's actually confirming this by leaving the probe behind the way he did. That was actually brilliant. But yeah, so he confirms that it's going to be stalkers, and his own stalkers will meet this head on. In fact, they might even be able to save the probe. I don't know. Oh, unfortunately not. I'm still 70% about wanting to change my name to Diet Soda on Twitch, but it's not available. I just love that there are people who do that. Like, I swear, there's probably like one guy out there, he's like super rich. You know, a game launches or a service becomes available and he just makes account names with all of the most, like goes A to Z in the dictionary. So he's got names like Diet Soda or Computer or Keyboard, you know, stuff like that. It just sells him off. The guy's a dick, but he's probably so rich. It's like people who are like, if you don't know this story, guys, someone on Twitter I can't remember what it is. The letter R. They have like a single letter for a name. And it's worth like literally tens of thousands of dollars. It's insane. People have hacked the account, try to steal it. Like, it's nuts. Okay, this proxy Stargate is actually really delayed to the point where Mana might not expect it. Like, there is a degree of nobody expects the late Stargate. The warp ins are kind of nice and they're gonna keep some pressure going down in the front, but that Oracle might just get in here and kill a lot of workers. And for Mana, who is still only on one base, any amount of workers killed is going to hurt. He might be thinking this is some kind of stalker all in. Maybe he's worried Blink's finishing in a moment or two. As he's going for the Immortal, that's going to help a ton on the ground, but little does he know that Oracle is beaming right towards the main. Now, luckily for Mana, he does have very good pylon positioning. It's only going to take an overcharge, maybe two, depending on how jumpy he is on this, to stop this from doing damage. But the concern is more that because he may have thought this was a more all-in than it was, he went for a lot of Immortals and Sentries and units and basically not a Nexus. And for DNS to be on 2 bases, for Mana to be on 1, puts Mana in a really bad spot. Picking off the Stalkers. The Adepts come through to the main and overcharges pop. They're out of range of this. Mana's going to go and punish this now, which is going to be really cool to see. He just cleaned up the Stalkers. He knows there's no real threat beyond this. In fact, the Oracle's trailing the army looking for a revelation, and while this goes on, that War Prism's going to have reinforcements on the front line. There's a very big danger that because DNS doesn't have production, he could die at home, but more importantly because he lost so many Stalkers across the map. Mana might only be on 1 base, but it's definitely not an accident at this point. In fact, DNS, ooh, he's got those overcharges, baits out one of them. Mothership Core's got a lot of energy though, so she's got more where that came from. We also have this stasis trap, which will keep him from running necessarily to the main, but Mana says, nah, you know what? I'm just going to elevate my way up, and he's going to force field that ramp. Oh my god, ladies and gentlemen, this is so dirty. There's nothing here to really fight this. He's just slowly elevating everything up, and there's plenty of more force fields where that came from. As he abandons the natural, desperately trying to get to the main, Mana is then going to have a couple of Adepts maybe shoot their way in. No, they were just misrallied, and it was kind of awkward to took them back. But anyways, takes down the Immortal. It's not a problem. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. No blink means no way to get to the main. Mana takes out the pylon powering the Robo. Now you can just take fights around the ramp if he wants to. The Void Ray comes home desperately looking for a way to fight, but that Void Ray would be fighting solo. This is just so gross. And poor DNS. Looked like he had a good handle on the game. Up a base over Mana, applying that pressure, but the Oracle and the Void Ray are not enough. GG's get called. Mana takes a 3-1 to go on to the winner's bracket, where he's going to fight against Stefano. Very, very well played out of Mana. And that being said, guys, it is between series, so we're going to go to another sponsored ad break here in just a moment, but we do the losers match first, so we'll be doing Hero Marine versus DNS. Hero Marine. Whoops. I gotta go find Hero Marine because it doesn't look like he's in the chat anymore. He might be watching stream or he might be playing his own games. Either way, guys, like I said, we got to go a sponsored break. So word from our sponsors, TING. If you don't know who they are, again, it's a US mobile phone service. They're definitely worth looking into. And we'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. Thanks for watching. Again, if you're someone who just doesn't care about this stuff, you're looking for like a BRB, I got to hunt down Hero Marine. It'll probably take about 5 minutes for these ads to run anyway. So yeah, 5-10 minutes. We'll see you guys in a bit.
There are a few options if you're looking for a phone to use with TING.